Shalom everyone. Parashat Tisa starts off with the concept of machatzit shekel. Whenever a census is conducted amongst Bnei Israel, Tisa at Rosh Bnei Israel, when you count the heads of Bnei Israel, you should, every single man should give kofer nafsho, some atonement for his soul through giving a machatzit shekel, half a piece of silver. That should go to Hashem, bifkodotam. And as a result, lo yibam negef, there won't be any magefa, any plague. Rashi explains that this idea of concern of a plague and why we need a kapara, there's a possible potential ayin hara, an evil eye, that might invite upon Bnei Israel suffering. You give the half a shekel of silver, and that is your kapara, that is your atonement. Later on in the parasha, we have the story of Chet HaEgel, the sin of the golden calf. Rashi immediately points out, Ein mukdam u'muchar b'Torah. The Torah isn't written in chronological order, and of course we know that the sin of the golden calf happened well before the instruction to build the Mishkan. We have to ask the question, why then is Parashat HaEgel, Chet HaEgel, written in the middle of this week's parasha? We have a look at the end of Perek Lamed Bet. The same three lashonot, Tisa, Lifkod, and Magefa, are used in Chet HaEgel. Moshe asks Hashem, Im Tisa Chattam, you should please forgive the sins of Bnei Israel. Hashem eventually says, fine, I will forgive Bnei Israel, but nevertheless, V'yom pokti ufakadeti aleim chatatam. The day that I'll remember, I will remember the original sin of Chet HaEgel. Rashi explains, every time that there's some suffering that befalls Bnei Israel, there's a little bit of payback from the original Chet HaEgel that Hashem forgave us for, and just delay the punishment till much later, where the punishment was meted out in small portions. And the perek ends off, Vayigov Hashem, there is a magefa. Tisa, Lifkod, and Negef. Perhaps the Torah is telling us that we need to make some sort of a connection. When the Torah says, V'natnu ish kofer nafsho laHashem bifkodotam, each man will give the kapara, the atonement of his soul to Hashem, bifkodotam. It's not clear who is the one who's doing the pakad. Is it the person who's counting? Or is it the one, as in Chet HaEgel, that Hashem is visiting the sins of Chet HaEgel on Bnei Israel, potentially creating this ayin hara, this accusing force that might bring suffering? Perhaps that simple pshat of Yud Gimel Midot Harachamim, Pokei Davon Avot Al Banim, that we read later on in the parasha. Then in terms of Knesset Yisrael, there is this notion that suffering can come about to the descendants because of the sins of the fathers, not on an individual level, as we see from Parashat Tisa, that Ish Becheto Yumatu, but in terms of Knesset Yisrael, the community of Yisrael, it is possible for Hashem to visit the sins of the parents onto the children as he pays back Chet HaEgel little by little. How does the truma of machatzit shekel help ward off the evils of magefa that can be brought about through Hashem remembering the sins of Chet HaEgel? The Rashi again comments that the machatzit shekel was a donation of silver that went towards building the adanim, which were the blocks that created the foundation for the Mishkan. The Mishkan, as we know, was placed in the middle of Machane Yisrael, and the Mishkan is a symbol of unity for all of Am Yisrael, uniting us, the heart of the nation, everybody who faced towards the Mishkan, certainly in Tefillah, symbolically a beautiful, beautiful building that would unite all of Am Yisrael. Perhaps it is not just the tzedakah of donating machatzit shekel that actually brings about the vaccine against this ayin hara. Perhaps it's more than that. It's this concept of unity. In fact, Chazal tell us that bizman sheYisrael osim chabura echad afilu avodah b'zara b'neihem en midat hadin nogad behem. This is a beautiful midrash tanchuma, that even if Bnei Israel are full of avodah zara, if there's shalom, if there's unity, if there's achdut, then nothing can happen to Bnei Yisrael. Perhaps that is the idea of machatzit shekel. It's the unity, the incredible power of unity that generates this envelope of protection against the ayin hara and prevents the magefa. We see this also in the story of Purim. The Gemara at the beginning of Masechet Megillah tells us that Haman gathered together all of his silver to give to Achashverosh. And Chazal tell us, גלוי וידוע לפני מי שאמר והיה עולם שעתיד המן לשקול שקלים מישראל, לפיכך הקדים שקליהם לשקליו. Kodesh Baruch Hu knew this was going to happen, so initially Hashem thwarted the efforts of Haman by giving us the mitzvah of machatzit shekel before Haman could gather his shekels, his shekalim, and bribe Achashverosh to annihilate all of Am Yisrael. What exactly do Chazal mean over here? It's a beautiful insight by the Gaon of Lisa in his Megillat Setarim, the end of Perek Tet. The Gaon explains why do we have this mitzvah of Mishloach Manot on Purim. And he says that Haman saw the opportunity to strike at Bnei Israel, to destroy Bnei Israel, only because of one thing, because Yeshno Am Echad Mufazar Mufurad. That there's a nation that's fragmented, dispersed. We don't have unity. And only because of this, he was able to suggest that he would annihilate Am Yisrael. Esther realized that the tikkun, the correction, would come about through one simple act, Lech Knosset Kol HaYehudim, go and collect all the Jewish people together, and let's generate that concept of unity. In memory of this, Mishloach Manot, giving gifts to our fellow Jews, brings about a sense of unity, and that unity creates the power, that protective envelope to prevent Ayin Hara, to prevent Magefa, to prevent annihilation of Bnei Israel. And perhaps that is the deeper message of what Chazal tell us, that the shkalim of HaKadosh Baruch Hu came well before the shkalim of Haman, because those shkalim were an idea, a concept of unity. Let's unite Am Yisrael, and through that type of unity, there's no power for the Ayin Hara, there's no power for Satan, no power for all our enemies over us. May we have a real, genuine experience of unity in Israel and throughout all the Jewish communities. Shabbat Shalom.